Hi everybody, this is Joyce with WindingWayTarot.com, and I'm doing a little video today to help out beginners who are looking to purchase their first deck. And my cats are losing their minds, so please forgive them. So basically, I want to talk to you about decks that are within the system of the Rider-Waite-Smith interpretations, and I'll be referring to that as RWS just to save a little time. Today I'm going to be showing you 3 different decks: the Vice Versa, the Dreaming Way, and the Shadowscapes deck. And out of those 3 decks, I'm going to be showing you 2 example cards. The first will be the 9 of Cups, and the second will be the Moon. What I want to show you is the variation in the illustrations and how the illustrations can color or even confuse, in some cases, the ability to easily interpret, or just maybe not easily, but just interpret the meanings of the cards. But this is especially important if you're a beginner, because if you have a deck with images that are vague or don't seem connected to the traditional meanings of that card, it can really make you feel like you've run into a roadblock. And when you're a beginner, you don't want to start out and immediately hit a roadblock. So for more experienced readers, when they already have the understanding and associations between the standard meaning of a card and the and more traditional imagery, then they can expand to cards that might be a little more Spartan, or a little more towards the intricate end of the spectrum. Either way, once you already have a foundation where you feel comfortable with the understanding of the imagery, then you can kind of branch out from there and not feel so disheartened if you have a hard time seeing the artist's vision, or whatever they intended that card to mean. Because for instance, since we're reviewing the 9 of Cups, you would already have an understanding inside of your mind that the 9 of Cups generally has to do with pride and accomplishments, wishes achieved through effort, and material gains, and enduring happiness, right? So if you already have that foundational understanding of the card, then when a card that looks very different from your understanding of the 9 of Cups pops up in a reading, you still know, this is the 9 of Cups, this is what I understand it to mean. Now let's look at the image and see what pops out at me. Let's see how we can expand on it. Let's see how it relates to the cards around it. Okay, so that's enough of that. I'm just going to show you these and let you take in the differences between the cards. First, we have the 9 of Cups, or chalices, from the Vice Versa deck. This man, obviously wealthy, right? He looks proud. He's standing there. He looks like he's about to invite a bunch of people over for drinks and a party in the ballroom, right? This seems pretty obvious. He looks happy. He looks like he is in a position that has taken time to achieve. He looks proud of it, right? So that associates very clearly with the classical interpretation of the Nine of Cups, or the Nine of Chalices, whichever you prefer. Now we're with the Dreaming Way. And I apologize for my inability to get this to focus well on these cards, but I promise I will continue to try to work on it. So here we have a fellow who is sitting by himself at the seashore. The chalices or cups are kind of behind him, with the exception of the one he's holding in his hand. He's got a very closed off posture. He isn't looking out at you or at his friends that he's inviting. He's looking inwards. He's sitting there deep in thought, it appears, right? He's got the water behind him, and I don't know, to me this guy looks, at the very least, introspective and thoughtful, and he doesn't look proud to me. The expression on his face doesn't seem joyful. Besides his clothes and the number of cups around him, there's nothing to indicate material success. The only thing that I really see that connects this to the traditional RWS system is the fact that this person is nicely dressed and there are 9 cups in the image. So if this had been the first deck that I had ever tried to learn with, I might find it really hard to form that connection between the meaning and this image. Alright, and so finally, here we go, this is the 9 of Cups from the Shadowscapes deck. We have a merman, we have 8 fish, golden fish around him, and a golden chalice beneath him that's kind of emanating a brilliant gold light, and that's surrounding him with this halo. Besides this one chalice, the other chalices are silhouetted on the sides of the fish around him. So there isn't a concrete representation of material wealth in this. There's nothing to indicate pride. If we could associate that golden cup just below him that's emanating the light with like Aladdin's magic lamp, then I guess we can see that as wishes granted. And the golden light surrounding him could definitely indicate happiness, but how could we associate that with enduring happiness? I just don't know. So to me, this is again a card that would have given me a very difficult time if I were in the very beginning stages of learning and trying to associate this with the meanings within the Rider-Waite system and how they could apply to the symbols within this card. It would be a little difficult. It's beautiful, but this is why I seldom use this deck. Even this card with the kind of melancholy fellow who may have had too much to drink the night before, even this one is closer related to the symbolism that I understand than this here. So, a more advanced tarot practitioner might not have any problem at all. And someone who reads with intuition instead of the traditional meanings, they probably love this. But for me, it's not quite there. The art, gorgeous, love it. The meaning and the ability to interpret it, I can't get it. I mean, I can't recommend it. That's okay. I can't recommend it for someone who is a beginner just starting out, who wants to learn the traditional meanings of the cards. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to try to hurry because we're at 10 minutes and I just talk too damn much. The moon. Here we go, the moon right here. We have the moon in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot system is a representation of things that are hidden beneath the surface, of subconscious drives and unexplored depths, okay? Mystery. In this card, this is the vice versa tarot. This is very closely related to the imagery that you're going to see in Pamela Coleman Smith's illustrations. We have the two canids here howling at the moon, the two towers, we have the water that extends back into the distance, we have the crustacean rising up out of the water, and it's got everything that you need there to make those associations and cement them as a beginner. Perfect. Very good. Now we move on to the Dreaming Way Tarot. Well, we have a very large moon. We have a crustacean. This time it's a lobster, not in the water. And I'm not sure what the young lady is doing with the lobster. It's like she's, like he's her pet or her dolly or something, and she's making him dance. I don't know. If I were trying to use this as my solitary introductory deck into tarot, I would be pretty confused. I think eventually what I would come to use as my symbolism would be, she appears to be in some sort of a, like a, it's not a nightgown, but a nightshirt maybe. She looks like she's about ready for bed, or maybe this is a dream that she's having here, right? And those I can associate with the subconscious and with mystery and with things that are not immediately clear. So I can connect this with standard terminology for the moon card. And I swear my cats are going to lose their minds today. All right, and finally we're back to the Shadowscapes card. Again, superb detail, beautiful artistry. We do have a moon. We could possibly see these trees as a representation of the tower. There are mushrooms growing all over the ground. And the woman in this scene is holding a mask. So with a little additional thought and inspection of the card and associations for the individual images within it, we can see a mask is something that would be able to hide the face of the person wearing it, right? So we have things that are hidden, that are not easily seen, that are obscured. And the mushrooms, it might just be me, but that makes me think of altered states of consciousness, and therefore the exploration of parts of your psyche that are not always accessible right at the surface. So this one I can see a little bit more of its connection to those keywords and the traditional meaning, but it's one of those things you've got to dig a little more for, and as a beginner that might throw you off. But of course, this is my perspective. on these cards. And a lot of people have started out and love, love, love the Shadowscapes deck. It is so popular. It's so gorgeous. I can totally understand why they love it. I don't see a whole lot of people talking about the Dreaming Way tarot. Its imagery is very unique. It's the artist has a very particular style. They've done a beautiful job illustrating the deck, but there are some of the cards that that just kind of throw you, especially with the expression and the removal or omission of some of the symbols that could help with interpretation for beginners. And then finally, the Vice Versa Tarot. I was so hesitant to get this because I thought the backs would, sorry about the naked lady, but I thought the backs would be too much of a distraction, or they would tempt me to cheat while I was drawing cards, but it's not a problem whatsoever, and I think it's a beautiful deck, and I really, really wish it had been available back in the early 1990s so that it could have been my starter deck. And I'll tell you what, you can't hardly get better than the guidebook that comes with the set. I would not buy the cards alone. There is a deck that they sell just by itself. You'll be able to tell it because it's a lot less expensive. This one is going to be between $20 and $30 if you buy the kit or the set. The book is worth it. It's worth it. It's got color images. It's got a detailed description of the front, or well, they call it this side and that side. And in the front of the book, it tells you the thought process of the creator of the deck and why they decided to have this side and that side for their deck. And it makes perfect sense to me. I really love it. And the bright colors, oh gosh, as an artist, I eat that up. So, all right, well, I really hope this has been helpful. And it's run a little bit long. We're at about 18 minutes. I'm going to wind it up. And I am so, so happy that you joined me today. And I can't wait to talk to you again. Have a beautiful day. Thanks. Bye-bye.